Hi there, happy hump day and welcome to Wednesday. Making progress, feeling as though you are hitting the goals that you need to achieve, having success. All of that is far harder to secure if you're trying to do it by not using your strengths. It's really easy to get sucked in to focus on the things that we're not good at and to give attention to the things that can hold us back, rather than focusing on the skills, the capabilities, the strengths that we have to move us forward. And it's the same with people around us. We can easily focus on the things that people aren't good at, rather than focusing on the things that they are good at. Albert Einstein once said, "Everyone's a genius, but if you judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid." This frequently plays out in the workplace. Think about it for a minute. It's really easy to box people, to label them in a certain way, to categorize them as being good at this or not good at this. And when we box people in and categorize them with not a lot of knowledge or insight, that can hold us back in terms of our relationship with them, but it can also hold the person back, particularly if you're their leader. Research conducted over the last 30 years shows that taking a strength-based approach to work, 1, leads to greater satisfaction, 2, greater engagement, and 3, greater productivity. So Tom Rath and Barry Conchie, in their book Strength-Based Leadership, outline the research that backs this up, and also how both leaders and the people at work are far more effective if they're doing that, leveraging their strengths. So if you're a leader or an employee, it's really important to understand your strengths. And then when you think about a team environment, when you bring people together, to understand how you're leveraging each other's strengths in that team environment. And that starts by understanding what are the strengths that you and everybody else around you are bringing to the table. Once you understand those strengths, you then want to understand how you can appreciate each other's strengths, how they're used both individually and how they're used when you come together. Because you want to be able to recognize and value the strengths that each of you are bringing to the work environment. So if you want to understand your strengths, if you want to understand the strengths of your teammates, where do you start? There's a couple of different tools that you can use, and they look at slightly different things, but they're both useful. Firstly, there's the VIA Signature Strength Survey, and this is looking at the self-assessment of an individual's strengths. And it helps people understand their core characteristics, the things that motivate them. And there's 24 characteristics, and when you get your results, it lists those characteristics, starting at number 1 being your highest strength to number 24 being your lowest strength. It's a really great activity to do as a team because you start to understand each other's strengths and what motivates you. And the second one is Tom Rath's Strength Finder Survey, and it's based on 4 domains of leadership strength: executing, influencing, number 3 being relationship building, and number 4, strategic thinking. Once again, when you dig into those strengths, and then there's characteristics that sit under each of those 4 domains, it helps you understand what are the strengths that you have in the work environment and how can they be used. The great thing with both of those instruments, no one's strength is better than another. So this is not a competition to see who has the best list of strengths. It's recognizing that everybody has strengths, and that the best work environments, the best workplaces, are those where people come together and they're able to use their unique strengths. And that it also understands that in a work environment, for it to work, to be effective, you actually need a nice mix. You need a spread of different types of strengths. What I often get teams to do is to do that assessment before they walk into a team session. And in that team session, we're then going to work through those different characteristics and to see how they come to light in a work environment, and also to discuss, well, where aren't they being used and how do we make sure that we're using them and using them well. And it's as simple as getting each of the people who are sitting around the table together to answer the question, I am at my best when. It's amazing that by asking that question, it can raise a whole new level of understanding and insights about the people that you work with. It's also a great way to increase connection and increase the relationships and trust that you have as a team. Simon Sinek, who wrote the book Start With Why, says spending too much time focused on others' strengths leaves us feeling weak. But focusing on our own strengths is in fact what makes us strong. So yes, you want to understand the strengths of those around you, and you need to understand your strengths too. Take care, and I'll see you next week.